I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. I take shots to the top, I'll get it
There we go. I had to find the right button. Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, October 7th, the day we've been waiting for almost a month. Warrant distribution day for GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond. I understand that some of you, at least in pre-market, have not got your warrants yet. And remember, there are some brokers that might take a little bit of extra time to get them to you. And there might be some of you, depending on who your broker is, maybe the smaller ones or foreign ones that get a payment in lieu, cash in lieu. So keep me posted throughout the day how the experience is going for you. I started seeing some people that had shares in accounts that I don't trade GameStop in, like Computer Share. For example, already saying that the warrants were showing up in their account. So we've got a wide variety of people out there, a wide variety of brokers. Let me know if you're having any problems with yours. That's really what I'm interested in. If you got your warrants, good enough. I don't know what's going to happen today. My anticipation is nothing much. But I was told by the pumpers that today was going to be warrant squeeze day, that GameStop was going to rip. And, you know, if it does, I want to be here live so you guys we can all celebrate together, just in case I'm wrong. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong. Cordero, good morning. God bless you and God bless everyone. VRO's Trades, good morning. VRO says, where can I see my dividend in Webull? It should show up in your list of tickers as GMEWS. eToro, nothing. VR Exodus says. Troy says nothing in Schwab. Doge Pound, good morning. Excuse me, guys, for a second. I'm going to turn off the camera for a moment while I quickly finish my breakfast. Let's put our buddy Clint up here. I can still see your comments. Let's create a new tab here for GMEWS and see if we got a price now that the market's open. Sorry, it's GME-WS on Webull. If you want to add that, no price yet. You know, it's possible that they haven't been fully distributed yet. That's another thing that we're going to kind of observe today. At what time today do they hit? And the other one is what? BBBYW. Nothing. Bed Bath & Beyond down 2% this morning, roughly. GameStop holding flat. Very nice. Craig, good morning. Good morning. Bag Lady, good morning. John Castro, good morning. Craig says, I bought shares in GameStop to add to my AMC shares. Is it true the two are kind of linked together somehow? I mean, that's a widely debated topic, Craig. I've been following these two stocks for years, and granted, they have different fundamentals, different balance sheets, different income statement and cash flow statements. But in general, if you look at when one moves, like GameStop, AMC often tends to follow it. Maybe not to the same degree. And there are other what I call meme basket stocks that often move with GameStop too. So my gut feeling, Craig, is yes, they're somehow linked together, maybe in a basket of meme stocks. But it's no guarantee that if one moves, the other is going to move. Laura, buenos dias, buenas tardes. Nada en España, she says. Rube says RBC Canada has delivered them, but no price on them. Rename GM. Yeah, we probably won't see a price until you see it actually get its first trade. That's annoying. Let's do that. Alan, good morning. I'll be done eating my bacon here in just a second. I hate eating on camera. Oven baked bacon, Casey. $3.75. 17 minutes. Thick sliced Mrs. Wright's bacon. That is the bomb. I asked a chef at a restaurant one time, how do you get your bacon so perfect every time? He said, we bake it in the oven. I was like, that is life-changing instructions right there. So it is it's a bacon and black coffee morning. Last bite. Alan, I bake mine on a piece of foil on a cookie sheet, but I have another cookie sheet with a drip pan, and you could use that too. It's annoying to have to clean up bacon grease, so I just put a foil or wax paper, whatever I have, typically foil. And if I'm making some eggs, after the bacon's done and it's draining on some paper towels, I pour the oil. Why do I drain the bacon if I pour the oil in a skillet to cook my eggs? Why even bother draining the bacon at that point, right? Pat it dry with the paper towels and then use the oil, the bacon grease for your eggs. That's pretty funny. But that's what I do. No eggs this morning, though. We're keeping it light. All right, we are $24.95 on GameStop. I know there's been a lot of talk and debate and discussion about would the price be reduced when the warrants came out. As far as I know, the price was reduced on Friday. Typically, when you have a dividend distribution, cash or warrant, the price adjustment happens at market open on the ex-dividend date. So for GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond, that is already behind us. if it's a stock that has high volatility, if the price is moving all over the place, you might not even notice that the price got adjusted down, but it does happen. It did happen. We're not worried about the price getting adjusted down today because of the warrant distribution. That already happened. We're just observing what's going on with the stock, and then when the warrants are priced and begin trading, it'll be kind of interesting, I think, to especially compare the GameStop to the Bed Bath & Beyond ones and see how they're trading during the day. Pond Prowler says 6 eggs a day. Holy smokes, man. For me, Terry, it's normally 2 or 3 a day, which, you know, keto is why I got those damn chickens in the first place. So you're eating that many eggs, you may as well have your own little chicken farm out there. That's one less meal you need to purchase every day. We got 8 chickens back in 2020 in the height of COVID. Right before it, I knew it was going to become difficult to get groceries. Remember when all the grocery stores got run in COVID, and I was telling my family stock up, and we stocked up ahead of the market crash and the grocery store run. We stocked up on everything, and I went and got some hens, which was good timing because they got really expensive once the grocery store shut down. We've had them since 2020. They're starting to slow down their production a little bit right now. My wife said, "What are you gonna do?" I said, "Chicken soup, of course." "Oh, Tony, you can't do that. You wouldn't do that." They're not pets. I mean, come on now. They are a utility. Alan says 3 eggs and potatoes. I love me some egg, potato, and cheese breakfast tacos, Alan, but I'm trying to be good on sticking to a keto/carnivore diet this year. Greg says he's got 40 chickens. Holy smokes. 12 eggs a day. There you go, folks. And I bet you ever get your cholesterol checked? I bet it's still pretty good. Yes, babe. What's up? We're live right now. Hang on one second. Next time I have to get up for a hug and a kiss and I love you, I'm going to make her sit down and do it on camera. AA says, how do you stay in such great shape? I mean, I'm not in perfect shape, but for, I guess, someone my age, I'm doing okay. Trying to eat healthy. Avoid fast food. Drink a lot of water and exercise on a regular basis. Just the basics. I don't have any magic secrets. But I generally try and avoid carbs unless it's in a veggie. By veggies, I mean green ones. Green or any dark color. Tomato. Not so much carrots. Tomato, green peppers, red peppers, any green leafy veggie. I'm good with all those. $24.97. Any questions on GameStop today? It's so quiet out there. Everybody's. Hopefully, you guys are actually zen and got a good head on your shoulders about what's going to go down today. The ones that I worry about are the ones who have built up hype and expectations in their minds about what's going to happen, because when the inevitable disappointment happens, if it happens, that there's not a warrant squeeze today, then they're going to be searching for, what did we miss? What did we miss? The only thing we could have missed is crime. Or maybe the DD was just not accurate leading up to today. Could be that too. Just going to say. Pond Prowler says, except cauliflower. You don't like cauliflower? Terry, come on. Zach says his secret is lose only half a pound per week, so you preserve muscle and reduce cortisol. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, that is a good rate right there, half a pound per week. And it's even easier if you just reduce your calories a little bit and increase exercise a little bit, and they kind of work together. And there you go, half a pound a week. Douglas says, when do I think I'll reach my sell zone for GameStop? I have these demand and supply zones drawn in here. Who was that, Douglas? And if you look back at the history, I obviously didn't have one in the Keith Gill run-up back in May of 2024 because it happened so fast. I did sell into that run-up, but I didn't have a supply zone drawn because we hit this demand zone down here, bounced off of it, and it just went to the moon in my eyes. I mean, going from $10 to $60, that's a hella good trade. So I sold into that and waited for it to kind of settle down. And we see 2 touches here on this supply zone. I sold into the second one. And I'll be looking real close at what, if it gets back up here again, 33, 34, 35. If it gets back up there, I'll be looking at what made it get there. Do we have news? Do we have a reason for me to reanalyze the fair value and stay in the trade? Or is it just running on FOMO, hype, and emotion? In which case I might want to take a temporary exit, monitor it for a few days, see if it pulls back. If I was wrong, you can always buy back in. You know, I think the worst advice out there is people discouraging you guys from taking profits. They make it as if you could never get back into a trade. It's just silly talk. So, Douglas, I don't have a set point other than, like we were talking yesterday, if it gets up to this supply zone, that's where I will be, for me, reanalyzing what to do next. And if it doesn't ever get back up there in the next 12 or 13 months, well, I have a diversified portfolio. GameStop is, if it doesn't hit 33, it's not going to ruin my year. It's not my only stock. And I'm going to be giving Ryan Cohen and GameStop all the time they need to figure out what to do with their cash. Not gonna hurt my feelings if it takes a while. Casey says, my favorite is Terry's famous bacon cabbage. That sounds good. Is it like a stir-fried cabbage with some bacon? Stir-fried cabbage is underrated, by the way. That's some good stuff. Chris says, Tony, anytime I mention Buru, I get crickets. Are you mentioning it here, Chris, and I'm just not seeing it? Or are we talking about everywhere else on social media? I have to inform you, he says, I'm up 120% with an average of 16 cents. I like to hear that. Let's see what we got here. Oh, by the way, Railtown is up another 4% today. I saw Anya was celebrating in the Discord yesterday. She said, I'm up 35% on your your little unknown OTC play, Tony Denaro. Let's see what Buru is looking like. Wow, up 32% today. Volume 200 million, pretty decent. Free float 125 million. Market cap 44 million. What do we got here? Blue Laser Tech. Welding, three-dimensional printing. All right, allow me a moment. Do they have news? This run-up started what? A week ago? Global distribution right for orbits, platform and defense and mission critical sectors. That sounds like a good headline. New bureau to acquire Orbit. So we got a rough lay of the land. Dual CEO structure, transformation plan. Let's just take a quick peek at how they're doing. Let's start here with revenue and earnings. So virtually no revenue at the moment. Negative net income. Negative earnings, obviously. Low on cash. Working capital is a problem here. They have 20 times the current liabilities as they do current assets. And same situation with the total liabilities versus total assets. So we have negative shareholders' equity and negative working capital. So we got some balance sheet issues, which I don't know if they're working to address that or not. I'm just doing a quick look here. And negative operating cash flow. So, I mean, yeah, it's not the perfect company. A couple of hurdles to overcome there. Probably, I'm guessing, why they bought this other company, Orbit, to bring in some revenue. Just a guess. So let us know. Let us know what you like and what you think. What is their plan? Robert, good morning. He says the system is corrupt. Virtually no movement in GameStop except down. We're still waiting on these damn warrants to be priced, Robert. What's going on? Chris says there comes a point where the turnaround begins. I think we're at that junction point now. We're talking about Buru. Bag Lady says, any news on NNE, nanonuclear? That is a good question. Let's go. 59 bucks, up 10%. I like it. It's up 100% almost since August. That's a banger. Nanonuke to establish manufacturing and R&D facility in Illinois. It looks like they got an incentive from the Department of Commerce there in Illinois. What did I see here? Something. Did they recently get added to the S&P? Oh, the nanonuclear achieves inclusion in the S&P BMI. That's the broad market index. That was 2 weeks ago. Selling some technology. Let's do a quick look at them too. NNE. NNE. The company is developing Zeus, a solid core battery reactor, and Odin, a low pressure salt coolant reactor. I love the Greek, the Norse mythology names. Zeus and Odin. Also developing a high-assay, low-enriched uranium fuel processing facility for the nuclear reactor industry. All right. Income. No revenue. Oh boy. So we got another pre-revenue company. And because of that, we have negative net income, negative earnings, yada, yada, yada. Same old story on no income companies. You got to be careful on these. Make sure you really understand the story and really believe that they're going to get to a point where they can flip to bringing in revenue. That is going to be key to not getting the F diluted out of you. Current assets, 212. Liabilities, 2.9. Okay, so that's pretty good. And their assets, total assets to total liabilities is good too. So the next thing, the balance sheet is okay, but we got to look at the cash burn rate. We got 210 million and, oh yeah, they should be fine. Look, it looks like in terms of operating cash burn, they have plenty of cash. But I would like to know what their plan is to get some revenue in. The market seems to like it. Let's see if any analysts are covering this stock. 2 analysts. And we got H.C. Wainwright, Samir. I'm not a big fan of H.C. Wainwright. They have a $50 price target. What happened to Michael Legg? Michael Legg downgraded this stock from 51 to 9. Now we got a battle here. Who's right? Like I said, I'm not a fan of H.C. Wainwright. They're more like a marketing. Their price targets for me often seem like marketing legs of a firm to suck you in. So I don't know. I'd really want to go understand why this guy downgraded it to 9 while this one's maintaining 50. And don't laser focus yourself into one belief. Go in and really read both sides and see who is telling the truth. That's a huge discrepancy. Yeesh. Creston, how you doing? He says, thank you for your always objective view on the stocks. Could you take a look at RZLV? Got some skin in that game and would like my take. Yeah. Chris says, analysts are typically wrong and work for the FUD factor. Sometimes, Chris, yeah. But I also see analysts on particularly shady companies, and H.C. Wainwright tends to be one of those, that are used to facilitate offerings for the company. They're used as the agent to facilitate offering, and therefore, in my mind, by observation, they tend to put out false expectation price targets. And sometimes the price target comes out before the offering, and you've already been suckered in by them. And then the offering comes out and the price tanks. Seen it way too many times. And H.C. Wainwright in particular. There are some other ones. H.C. Wainwright seems to be complicit in that sort of thing many times. All right, what are we looking at? Pond Prowler Adventures says 1 free cookie to any new subscribers over on his channel. Go check out Pond Prowler Adventures, especially if you're into fishing or the ocean or watching a guy take a rowboat out into the middle of the Pacific. I'm being a little bit, I'm trying to get you over there. What does he mean, a rowboat? It has a motor, it's not a rowboat. RZLV. Ooh, another AI company, huh? So many. Do I have an AI? I don't have an AI watch list. I need to create one. We have an AI room in the Discord. Maybe I need to add this to that list. 276, 241. Oh man, $1.90 up to $7. $8. Holy smokes. Yeah, this is why you diversify. Imagine if you were just sitting in one meme stock and you're watching all these other ones run up 400%. You got to spread your tentacles a little bit, friends. $1.07 up to $8. And that wasn't even, that's not even like a overnight short squeeze. That's a 5, 6, what, 9, I can't do math yet. 9 minus 4, 5-month run up. What do we got here? RZLV. Seven analysts covering the stock. Average price target of $9.71. It's trading at $6.78. So there's still a 42% upside if the analysts are correct on where the price is going to go over the next year. And that is the average. The high analyst price target is $15. Let's see who's covering this and how recently they updated their price targets. All right, we have a couple of wide discrepancies here. We got 2 people that have $7 price targets. Cantor Fitzgerald is another one that I don't like, but they're on the low side here. And we got H.C. Wainwright involved, $10. And then we have Tom over at Maxim Group, not familiar with him. And Rohit over at Roth Capital. They both have higher price targets, 13 and 15. So a little bit of digging. I'm not saying you need to believe the analysts, guys. I'm saying use that as kind of a starting point on your journey to figure out why might they have such widely different price targets. How are they valuing the stock, and whose story seems more accurate? Obviously, what we're going to find is they each have different predictions for earnings, forward earnings. And whatever their forecast is for revenue and earnings is going to drive their price target. The price targets aren't just created out of thin air, unless it's H.C. Wainwright and they're trying to sell you an offering. But they're based on these guys' analysis. Sometimes it's marketing. But theoretically, they should be based on an analysis of expected revenue and earnings, be it growth or falling. So yeah, a little bit of digging to go do there. Let's see what we got here real quick. Revenue, semi-annual. Where is this company based out of? It's not US, right? United Kingdom. All right. Healthy jump in revenue there. That's what we want to see in that other company, you know, that had no revenue. You want to see nothing, and then boom. They did something right here. Operating income still negative though. Net income negative. Free cash flow negative. Got some work to do on the revenue and income side. I mean, it's good to bump revenue, but if you can't turn a profit, you got to ask yourself as an investor, good revenue. We got revenue on the board now. Hopefully revenue is going to grow. I bet this is some of the debate that these analysts are having. They might have seen that revenue come out and no profits and said, oh, hold on, we need to dial back our forecast here. And the other thing you can do besides just listening to the analysts is go listen to an earnings call or read a transcript and see what management is telling you. That is important. I know the GameStop people tell you we don't need to hear from management. It is important for us as investors and analysts to hear from management about their expectations. No one knows the business better than them. So for me, listening to management communications, earnings calls is important. It leaves us just guessing if we don't have any management communication. So go check that out on Resolve if that is available. Total current assets 22, liabilities 93. That's not good. Total assets also, so we got an upside down balance sheet. Cash flow, negative 19, call it negative 20 million. And they only have 9.8 in cash. So we got a problem here with cash burn. RZ, let's just check dilution tracker. They are seeing something different than me. They're saying quarterly cash burn of 9 million, estimated cash at 248. What did I miss? I don't see where they ever had 248. RZLV. Something's not right here. There was a prospectus filed in September. That's what I was looking for on Dilution Tracker. Up to 7.5 million shares and 175 million for resale. See, this is probably why some of those analysts downgraded it. I'd say there's some things that are just, I'm not going to spend all morning looking at this company, but there's some concerning things here you need to make sure you understand. What's your dilution risk look like here? I'm seeing some things that are throwing up some yellow flags. I would need to spend some time reading to say if it's a red flag, but let's just say be careful on that one. We got GameStop back in the green now, 25.17. up 0.5%. Still no trading on the warrants. Oh man, Ethan. Hey, Doge Pound, are you seeing any, you're not seeing any price on your warrants though, right? Almost couldn't sleep last night. I was so excited to see what's happening. And then I realized, well, I could safely go to sleep because they were saying the ticker was halted overnight. No price. All right, what is your guys' best guess? How long are we going to have to sit here? Are we going to get something, at least some trading by lunchtime? I saw that both GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond dropped their filings now. The 8A12B, this is the Bed Bath & Beyond one, dropped yesterday, and GameStop's dropped yesterday too. Oh yeah, I remember, because everybody was talking about Project Genesis. I love all these project names that they come up with to keep people on their toes. Will it mean anything? Stay tuned. My bias is bullish at the moment. Dave says, has anyone received warrants? Yeah, Dave, some people have. There's a wide discrepancy. They're running the synthetic printer full time in the back room there at the DTCC. Once all of the synthetic warrants have been fully printed, they'll be able to distribute them, and all of you guys will get them. That was just a joke, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all day. What else we got going on up here? I'm looking up on the top monitor here. We got all the movie tickers in the red. This weekend, I saw a movie. It was called An Enemy, not An Enemy. It's like the flower, or I think there might even be an oceanic one, Terry. Anemone, Anemone. At any rate, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of my all-time favorite actors, shout out to Last of the Mohicans, hatchet through the head, push him off a cliff, stay alive no matter what occurs. I will find you. You know what I'm talking about. Daniel Day-Lewis is in An Enemy, and so just for that sole reason, I went and saw the movie. It does not have spectacular reviews. It's 2 hours long. It's a lot of that artsy directorial thing where we're going to have these long cinematic shots of the landscape, and you're supposed to figure the story out without a lot of talking. Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, if you're going to have a guy in a movie, he's a good one to, you know, he's got that old weathered face now, and the eyes can speak. But I did not take the wife to that movie. I told her before I went, I said, I'm not taking you to this movie. But why not? You're not going to like it. And she would not have liked it. Many of y'all won't like it. I enjoyed it. It's more for cinema geeks. And it did not do very well this weekend, not surprisingly. But if you are a fan of Daniel Day-Lewis, go check it out. This weekend we have Tron Ares. And so I'm redoing my homework. We rewatched the original Tron. And, you know, my wife's a couple years younger than me. I had to explain to her that Tron was a movie back in, what was it, like, what was the year of that? 1988? Something like that. It was a movie, then it was a game that we actually played as kids in the arcade. Then it showed up on Atari. I played all that stuff. Then I think later they had some better versions of it, maybe on PlayStation. Then a long time went by, and what's his name? Jeff Bridges starred in the second Tron Legends, I think it's called. And that was like 20 years later. 1982, Chris said. And I think they used a digitized version. Ooh. Terry, don't get excited now. It's not a digitized version. A digitized version of Jeff Bridges, because he played a young character and an old character in the movie. Tron Legacy. Thank you. And there's a lot of, it's good to watch them back to back because there's a lot of plot carry over from the original Tron to Tron Legacy. And you will notice it immediately, like the door that they sneak in to get into the facility. It's the same door, you know, that Jeff Bridges snuck in the first movie, and his son sneaks in the second movie, and they both have the same line. Oh, that's a big door. Something to that effect. There's just a lot of carryover. And I believe that this new movie, Tron Ares, will have the same amount of little Easter egg carryovers into the new one. So if you have Disney, go watch those two movies before this weekend. And then there is also a cartoon. I think it has 17 episodes, which fills in some of the gaps between the first movie and the second movie. So I'm on about episode 7 of that. Whenever I finish that, we will schedule our movie for this weekend. What is going on with space? Johnny says. Let's see. I saw one of these tickers had a massive dilution offering today. Not this one. Was it ASTS that had the dilution offering? Not AS, ASTS. Oh, well, that recovered pretty good. It's only down 3%. $800 million equity distribution plan. That was the news. All right, let's go back to your ticker. SPCE. No news this morning, and yet it's up. Gorilla says that I'm reading the comments here. AMC will follow Virgin Galactic in the coming days. It's funny how, like, when you go look at other ticker communities, how AMC and GameStop, even I see Mullen, you know, if you go into some real shady penny stock comment sections, oh, Mullen is about to run. These guys, man. I'm not seeing anybody here with any explanation of why it's running. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't see any news, and I don't see anybody in the comment section with any insight. Not sure what to say. Is there another space ticker that's moving, that's getting a little brotherly love? That would be my next thought. Craig says GameStop having a nice rise and AMC doing the opposite and having an awful drop. AMC's only down 1% today. But keep in mind, I'm trying not to harp on this, but you guys keep on asking, why is AMC not moving, or why is it going down? We're literally probably days away from a proxy statement coming out. And if you are wondering why the price is going down, it's probably because nobody is talking to you, letting you know that this proxy is coming out and there will be a dilution vote on it, or maybe even a reverse split vote, or both. Nobody, for whatever reason, wants to talk about that. Let's focus on the movies in 2027. Like, how about we just be real and talk about what's about to drop in your lap? It might help you understand why AMC is stuck right here. Nobody's putting money in AMC until we see what is on the proxy. Maybe it'll be a big nothing burger. But what if it is substantial dilution potential? So I would just say, if you're wondering why AMC is stuck, don't forget there's a proxy days away and a vote only months away. And they're going to lose money and burn cash in Q3, which you'll find out about in 4 weeks. I know that's bad news. I know no one else is telling you this. They don't want to talk about it because they will lose their audience. I'm way past caring about that. You guys deserve the hard facts. I think box office will be good next year. Yes, absolutely. But we got to get past Q3 negative impact, and we got to get past this proxy. And then maybe we make a new assessment on what next for AMC. Ethan says, how often do you think CEOs like Ryan or Adam look at their share price? Probably every day. Ethan. Especially like if you're an Adam that needs to raise money, you're going to be keenly aware of your share price. And Ryan appears very aware of the share price also, because he is also in fundraising mode. So I bet they look at it quite often. Zach says, if you're not dead center in a movie theater, do you like being on the right side or the left side? Are you a lefty or a righty? Zachary says. Does it matter to me? It doesn't matter. I just don't want to be up close, Zachary. By the way, that brings up a good point. When I went to go see Anemone, there were 3 people in the theater. Me, I was in the dead center last row. There was one lady on the far right, the absolute far right chair in the middle. And there was one lady in dead center of the first row. I'm like, what is up with these people's seat selection process? Like, dead center in the first row, like you're literally sitting there like that, and you had the whole house to choose from, and that's what you went with. And then the other lady walks in like right when the movie was starting, and she sits in the very first chair right when you come in. Boom, right there on the right in the middle, which would be annoying, you know, if there were a bunch of people coming in or going out getting snacks. She didn't have to deal with that, but still, why not just walk 5 more feet down and sit in the middle, lady? I don't get it with some of these people, man. Creston says, thanks for your take. I'm in at 4.5 per share, so all is well, but we'll dig a little bit more. But they have an interesting earnings call worth listening to. All right, which ticker was that again, Creston? Where is he at up here? C. Hill says, depending on who your broker is, some are faster at giving out the distribution than others. Yep. Some might be days. 20 million subscribers, no videos says, heads up, been subbed to you since 2021, but YouTube unsubbed me from you. Same thing happened to Boss Blunt's Kenny G messing with the algo. I know there are people that start out every video saying, make sure that make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubbed you. I don't remember where I saw this, if it was on, you know, there's channels that of YouTube, I don't know what you'd call them, coaches or advisors. All they do is they follow YouTube, and their audience that they're trying to address is any content creator. It might have been one of those channels, or it might have been an email from YouTube. But at some point, I remember reading or hearing that from time to time, YouTube goes in and kind of does a purge of accounts that are following channels. Maybe if your account has been dormant for a while, or maybe if it has suspicious activity, they will just purge it as like you're a suspected bot and unsubscribe you. Could be that, or it could be Kenny G just making sure you don't get the right messaging. I don't know. But sorry to hear that happen to you, and thank you. Hopefully you resubbed to all of us. Palm Prowlers, I guess. When I was talking about the movies, what did I say? A couple years between them. Hey, Terry, when you're my age, you know, it blends together. Decades just seem like years, you know? UK Dave with a good observation. Adam Aaron seems to sell on the cheap. Ryan Cohen sells when the stock is on the move. I mean, by appearances, that is true. But also the stock performance of the two companies and the balance sheets are vastly different also. I honestly think, you know, the GameStop's a stupid short. So it's easier for the price to hang out up here in higher ranges, and easier for GameStop to raise money at higher prices. As soon as Adam Aaron has shares available, everybody knows he's going to need to raise cash because the box office isn't big enough and the company's going to lose 100 million or 200 million in the quarter. And so they just relentlessly attack AMC's price. And that's going to continue until the box office grows or the company right sizes its income to its expenses. That is not going to stop. And it makes it difficult for a CEO like Adam Aron, because you got to raise money, you got to ask for more shares, but you know they're going to effing short you because of it. The only way out is to increase the income or cut the expenses. Joe says so far, one of my brokers delivered. Oh, Palm Prowler says he was referring to Scarlett's age gap. Yeah. Again, I'm trying to minimize Palm Prowler. I'm trying to minimize a couple decades to a couple years. All right. Just work with me here. We got some very judgmental people that watch this channel. How did Tony get a young hot redhead 20 years younger than him? I heard she was only 18. I heard he met her at the high school dance. He was chaperoning his kid. I heard he was at Chuck E. Cheese. Cracking myself up. These guys, these haters out there. Ethan, yeah, Ethan's got the real story. Tony is actually only 23. That is the truth right there. Trip Hazard says the trajectory of GME from Thursday at 2 p.m. to close of business today puts it at 24 even if it holds consistent. I mean, I know what you're talking about with the trajectory. What we've observed is that this stock tends, for the past several days, to get attacked the second half of the day, right? We did okay, and then boom. Did okay, even went up, boom. Tried to hold for a couple hours, boom. I don't know what's going to happen today. I'm not forecasting a warrant squeeze like some people are, but I'm hoping it'd be nice for me that we stay above this supply zone and hold at $25. That would be beautiful. I don't want to see it walk back down to 21, 22 bucks. King Louie, what's up? Dave says, if he wants more shares, then at least offer them to shareholders first. Give us a break. You want to talk about that for a sec? I mean, it's an interesting topic. I hear people say that from time to time. How could he offer shares to shareholders? He could do a warrant distribution if he had shares available. He could do like ENVX, and offer warrants with a exercise price below the current share price to basically make sure that current shareholders get the shares and you get a little bit of a discount and you can choose to participate in it or not. He could do that, but he's going to do it at a discount. And that would drop the price like it did with the Novix ENVX. He could do a subscription rights offering. But the problem with those is, AMC needs to know with certainty how much money they're going to raise. So whether you're doing a warrant distribution or a rights offering, what certainty do they have that they'll be able to raise the amount of money they need? So I think they just they punt and take the easiest route possible, which is a private placement or an ATM. Much easier, much more certain. But I definitely hear you. Would it be nice if they tried a rights offering or a warrant distribution? Yes, but A rights offering also might be done at a discount, which is going to drop the price. I believe they're typically done at a discount. I haven't looked into too many of them, but they'll say, hey, we need to raise this much money and the stock's trading at $3. We'll let you buy it at $2.50. But as soon as they announce that, what happens? The market walks the price down to $2.50. I don't know that there's a win in there. You know, if you want cheap stock, try and pay attention to the cash burn, anticipate the dilution. I'm telling you right now, there's one coming up, and get out of the way until the dilution's done. I mean, this is what we've been doing here now for going on 2 years. You can still make money on a trade like AMC, but not holding through dilution after dilution after dilution. You're going to get wrecked. You're going to be constantly chasing, averaging down. You do whatever you want. I'm not trying to give you any instructions, but I would bet you money there's going to be a dilution vote coming up here soon. Chris, thank you. He says the sub count just flipped to 23. Cheers to that. Let's do some water. Coffee's getting old at this point. What is up with GMEWS? VRO wants to know. Still no volume. No volume, no price. We're waiting. We're waiting for it to be greenlit. Ethan says AMC likes to find historic low right before its historic high. I think, you know, this is not for everybody. AMC is a speculative and risky trade. But if you can be intelligent about the timing and come in towards the bottom of a dilution event, you know, they're probably not going to, if they just announced and did a dilution and the price gets tanked, they're probably not going to need to do one again right away. That's when you want to come in and buy it. And then if you are a speculator, see if the price runs up. You probably have 3 or 6 months before the next time you got to worry about dilution, and see what happens. I mean, that's a perfectly viable strategy. Not without risk, but it's what I have been doing. And I'm waiting out the next dilution cycle right now. Carl, how you doing? He says, hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Hope the same to you, my friend. Zach says they can't sell stock until June 2026 based on the bond agreement. We're talking about AMC. They're out of shares, Zach, right now. So, I mean, they're functionally out of shares, so they can't sell any stock right now. But there will be a vote in December. And I'd bet you money that on that vote, that AMC proxy will be a request for more authorized shares. And if that vote is approved, there will be a lockout period. I think it is it 180 days? I think you might be right. If that vote happens in December and if it's approved, there is a period in which AMC will not be allowed to issue shares. That is correct. And then you need to ask yourself, why did the bondholders make sure that was in there, right? Use the breadcrumbs to anticipate, why are they putting that in there? We have a few ideas why that's in there. I bet you can think of some. Think like a convertible bond holder. John says, I heard you say that you don't buy puts, but if there is a high level of certainty that AMC will dilute, why not buy puts? I don't like betting against companies, especially if I know my audience is betting long on that company. I mean, I will buy puts, like I said, on some penny stock type tickers like Finger Motion. If it gets run really, really up, and I don't think I'm going to get IV crush, I might buy some puts on a ticker like Finger. I'll go long, buy the stock, go long, sell it in a run up, and then see if buying puts makes sense. The only time I have ever bought a put on something like AMC or GameStop is if I was worried about something and I wanted temporarily to have insurance, a hedge, if you will. And then if what I was worried about didn't happen, then I can just get rid of that insurance. And maybe, you know, that's a valid thing for you to consider. If you have a substantial AMC position and you're worried about a 50% price drop after a proxy vote and an announcement of I don't know what's going to be on there. This is where you gotta ask yourself, what's going to be on there? How bad could it get? Maybe you buy some puts just as insurance. Not that you're betting against the company, but you're trying to hedge your long position so that, look, I don't want to sell. You can say to yourself, I don't want to sell, but I don't want my position to drop 50% either. Buy some puts. That's what the pros do. That is called hedging. But don't fuck around with options if you don't know what you're doing. Ethan says, are we talking about why the lockout? Why would AMC have that 180-day lockout? His theory is so they don't get diluted during conversion. What was the conversion price for the, I forget, the AMC conversion price? It was like, it got reset down to some low number, right? Let's pull that up. It's like $2 and some shit. I'm sorry. Someone said I'm cursing way too much on this channel. I had 2 complaints this week. Filthy mouth. I thought you had a family. I do have a family, bitch, and they don't give a shit. Sorry. I don't mean bitch like female. I just like, that's what I say. It's what we say down here. We could say cabron, puta. Where is the details on the conversion price being reset? Not that document. Same damn one. It's one of these. Was it in the press release? Anyways, someone in my Discord probably remembers the conversion price got dropped to something ridiculous, like $2 and change. Someone find it. Yeah, it might have been $1.79, Zachary. It was something really low. But yeah, I mean, if I kind of think about if that conversion, it got dropped. It used to be, remember that 556 or whatever people were talking about on social media? It got dropped to something very close to today's price. And of course, if AMC gets access to more shares in December, they're going to fully be able to issue shares for the convertible notes. And the box office is going to get better, hopefully. And the price is going to run up, hopefully. Maybe these guys, maybe the bondholders want a little bit of cover to convert some of their notes slowly and get out from under those bonds if the price runs up. Especially since they got the gift in the debt restructuring, they got a gift handed to them of a substantial lowering of the conversion price. I don't think any of that was an accident. I wonder if AI can help me. Normally, I try and have these things committed to memory, but it's been a while. It's been like since July that I've looked at the AMC convertibles. Debt. Exchangeable notes. Let's see if Grok is smart. Yeah, you're right, Zachary. $1.79. Womp womp womp. That's a hell of a lot lower than 566. Yeah, Ethan's got me. All my crypto money, guys, is in Fartcoin, and what I don't have in Fartcoin is in the PP coin. You know who? PP, BBBYQ. It's just art, though. It's not a coin. It's art. I'm just in it for the art. Ethan says, so all the bonds are in the money. Essentially, yeah, Ethan. Another thing that you don't hear people talking about, right? Remember how much every day they talked about 566, the rally cry, 566. They don't want it to get to 566. Just imagine what happens. We will win when it hits 566. Who's talking about $1.79? Not one person. Not one person. Oh, man. You guys out there on social media, come on. I want to see the $1.79 rally cry. but you get mad at me. I don't mean you guys, but these people that are mad at me for selling, but they were the same ones cheering 566, and they won't talk about $1.79 or upcoming vote. What does that tell you? Zachary says, I don't understand why they would convert early. How much higher would it have to be for them to convert early? Typically, we don't expect bondholders to convert early, and maybe AMC won't. Unless, Zachary, think about this. If you convert early, you're foregoing the time premium, right? That's why typically bonds don't get converted early. But you also must believe that the stock is going to go up at some point. Otherwise, the time premium of that convertible bond, the call option like time portion of the bond price, just gets whittled away to nothing. And if the expectation of a bondholder is it's never going to substantially increase, then maybe they convert early. I mean, if your conversion price, here's Sparky, he could also answer this too. If your conversion price is $1.79 and the stock runs up to $4 or $5, you could sell the bonds at a healthy premium, or maybe even convert and then unload the stock. What do you think they'd do, Sparky? And regarding the 180 days, it is written into the press release in the transaction notes. The company has agreed to not issue shares if the vote is approved. That is what the wording says. Depending on the outcome of the vote, if the vote is approved by shareholders, AMC agrees not to issue any shares for 180 days. TM says eToro not doing warrants, cash instead. Yeah, not surprising, TM. There will be many smaller brokers that do cash instead. Let's see, Sparky, if I can find. It's not in the press release. I don't think. Not in that document. There we go. That's a call protection. Okay, here we go. In Annex B, page B4. No, that's not it either. That's the penalty. There was something in here. Maybe it's not 180 days. Maybe it's 90 days. Or 120. Not 90. No. I don't know. It's here somewhere. If one of y'all find the page, let me know. Somewhere in here, or the press release, it says AMC agrees not to sell any shares. Anton says, hey everyone, do we know when the warrants start trading today? I was expecting at market open, Anton, so we're just kind of on standby right now. Like I was saying earlier, they're finishing up the second batch of synthetic warrants. The printers are going full speed in the back room there at the DTCC. As soon as those synthetic warrants are printed and distributed, then they will turn on the trading. Sparky says, I think it's 60 to 90. Dink, are you still here? Can you help me out? Somebody with a good memory. Help me remember which frickin' document this is in. Maybe it was in this later July. Oh, here we go. I'm searching for 180 days, and that's not what they said. They said 6 months. They tricked me. Under the terms of the new exchangeable notes, the company has agreed not to engage in an at-the-market offering for 6 months following the required shareholder approval. There you go. Other than ATMs for the lesser of 25 million shares or 50 million in net proceeds. So that's kind of like a Hail Mary. I mean, that's really not that much. In terms of dollars, if AMC has a bad quarter. So basically they're locked out for 6 months if the following the shareholder approval. That was in the July 24th 8K. Probably in the other document too. I was searching for 180 instead of 6 months. Sparky says he's expecting the warrants before noon, New York time. One hour. Let's put an alert. Marilyn Mom says she called Fidelity and they said they're getting them at some point today and then they will distribute them to clients. Yeah, it is a process, right? GameStop has to issue the warrants to Computershare, which then has to issue to the DTCC, which then has to issue to the brokers, which then has to figure out which one of their clients is getting them. Who's getting the warrants and who's getting those synthetics, Sparky? Wink, wink. LOL. And yeah, some of y'all, unfortunately, in the smaller brokers or foreign brokers will likely get cash settlement. But I would wager, you know, especially if you've been trading some of these stocks for the last few years, you already know that corporate actions are a little wonky at your broker. This won't be the first time. Oh, man. cold dregs of the coffee. Ugh. Zach says it also says that if the price is at a certain level, they can issue 100,000 shares. I will have to go back and look for that. I don't remember seeing that, but I believe you. Yeah. I think it's actually right after what we're looking at right here. If it exceeds a certain trigger price, all that the restrictions of being limited are removed, right? Let's see. It says AMC is restricted provided that if the share price of AMC exceeds 200% of the soft call trigger price at any time based on the daily VWAP for a period of 2 days, at least, or at least 100 million shares of AMC have traded above 200% of the soft call trigger price, then all restrictions on the company will no longer apply. So they are limited by 6 months unless the stock is really trading up and on high volume. Then the chains are unleashed. AMC may dilute away. Which also kind of makes me think that the reason that the bondholders agreed to that is, I don't know. I mean, Sparky, if you're still here, are they doing that just to be nice? Or are they doing that because they think that they will already be out of the trade? The bondholders are going to be made whole with a dilution exchange rate ratio adjustment anyways. Not like they're going to lose anything if the company dilutes. I don't know. Buff Turd says, when does the raw dogging on AMC start? Let's hold that thought and see when the proxy comes out. Buff Turd. I'm thinking anytime after October 11th, we might have something to talk about. Sparky says the bondholders don't do anything to be nice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reminding us. But I mean, all of the wording in there is intentional, obviously. So what is the game plan? AMC probably said, hey, if the price runs up, we need to be unleashed here. We need to be able to sell. But would the bondholders, do you think they would take advantage of that to exit the trade if it really runs up like that? 200% of the trigger price, the soft call? That dude says, so we are coming back to the low $2. I see it a mile away. It's quite possible. I'm not making any price targets on AMC until I see the dilution. And probably the second we see it, the price will already react. You could absolutely be correct. Can I refill my coffee real quick? Here's what I think while my coffee's being made over there. I think that if Adam Aaron was smart, he would say, we have this proxy and we need more shares just in case. And to put you at ease, we have in the documents that we cannot offer any shares for the next 6 months, subject to certain limitations. That's the selling point I would go with, like how to sell this vote. Make sure people know. You can check the document. It says we can't do an ATM for 6 months. Sparky says, I think AMC does another exchange deal with the remaining convert holders. Well, there you go, Sparky. Then they don't even need to worry about what the price does. Once they have those shares, a lot of options open up. A lot of potential ways they could handle it. Yeah, that's a good point. 24.92 on GameStop. We are almost at the lunchtime hour. Let's see, what time did it kind of turn negative yesterday? Around 11:15. That is in 8 minutes. Let's see how today goes. I mean, we're already taking a little bit of a downward trend. I sure would like for it to end the day above this supply zone that I have drawn in here. I definitely don't want to see dropping below 24.50. If it does, then we got to think about 21.50 again. Chris says the general consensus is that AMC is going down. I'm going to say, Chris, my strong belief is there is going to be a proxy statement with the company asking for a significant increase in the amount of authorized shares. How do they sell that to get people to vote for it? I don't know. Will people vote for it? I don't know. What do they do if people don't vote for it? I don't know that either, but I mean, there's not a lot of... The only thing good to talk about is how good the box office is going to be. But there's a lot of things not related to the box office that we need to be concerned about. If risk factors into your analysis at all. Apparently for some of y'all, you're not worried about risk, and in which case, you're probably not listening today anyways. I mean, you guys are here because you want to be thinking about these things. If we are correct, and it is on the less favorable side of what they could ask for, if it's not taken well, what's going to be the message? Well, nobody saw this coming. I don't understand why the price is getting knocked down. Nobody saw this coming. One of y'all in the comments said, I can see it coming a mile away. I know some of y'all can see it coming. That dude says it's going down now. Just look at it. I'm looking at it up there on the other screen, down 2.25%, 283. And there, what I see, that dude, I don't know what your first name is, but what I see, I'm just trying to keep my mouth shut. I see a lot of people saying, I don't understand why it's going down. Taylor Swift, an extra 50 million, blah, blah. How can you not understand? How can you not understand that Q3 is going to be a cash burn and that the company's out of shares and that they're low on cash and that there's a vote coming up? How can you not understand that? I don't get it. Like, are these people blind, or are they lying to themselves? Are they just lying on social media? I don't get it. I mean, I want to help people, but I can't help you see what is coming if you're not even willing to open your eyes. You're like, some of these people out there are like baby puppies. Still got their eyes closed. We've been doing this 4 years now. You should be able to see some of this stuff coming. Chris says, when should the proxy statement be up? Delaware rules cannot issue the proxy more than 60 days prior to the shareholder meeting. So if we do the rough math, that means that around October 11th would be the earliest that they can issue the proxy. And, you know, they have weeks after that they could wait. They could wait all the way till around the Q3 earnings in early November. Most times, not every time, but most times AMC issues the proxy like 55 to 60 days, 55 to 59 days before the actual vote. But there might be a strategic reason they delay it till closer to the Q3 earnings call. Maybe they want to get all the latest financials on the proxy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. No sooner than October 11th, but it could be sometime after that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That dude says he bought 7,000 shares of Plug at 71 cents. I have not looked at Plug in forever. Railtown turned down in the red. The whole market turned red. God dog it. Let's see what Plug's doing. There was a time that I really liked Plug. Golly, 69 cents to 4.85. Where was I? Why aren't you guys telling me to go look at this stuff? I stopped looking at Plug like in 2022. It was hot. It was a hot ticket in early 2021. We tried trading it. I forget where, somewhere in here and here, and it was heading down. I was like, screw this. They can't ever turn a profit. And so I just walked away and never looked back. It went all the way down from 75 to 69 cents, and then it had a bounce. Well, hot dog. Must have had a good earnings here, huh? We were right. We were just early. My favorite line. Now the curiosity is going to kill me. I mean, theoretically, if the EV market grows enough, there's got to be a market for EV chargers, right? That was our theory back in the day. Revenue basically flat. Nothing's changed on the income side. What? Why is this stock going up? Who is that? That dude. What's the story here? What are we missing? Doesn't look like they fixed anything. Did they sign a deal? Current assets, current liabilities. Balance sheet is okay. Income statement sucks. Negative operating cash flow, but they have, no, they don't even have enough cash. Well, fill us in, amigo. He says, I had a friend tell me about it and he works in the industry. Maybe they just got tired of running it down. Are there any filings? Filings? We got a prospectus for $1 billion. My two, oh, remember how I said I don't like, what was that? That one broker. And we got B. Riley and Yorkville. Two more that I don't like. Let's see if they have a price target for plug. H.C. Wainwright, that was that one that I didn't like. H.C. Wainwright says going to $7. Everybody else has got a $1.50 target. See how that works? Warrants. Resale of warrants. $1 billion. But that was, this is, looks like an amendment, right? This was filed in January of 2024. This is a prospectus supplement. Oh my gosh. I see a lot of scary stuff here. Warrants, convertible notes, a SPA agreement, $1 billion ATM. Good luck. It's running up for some reason, but there's some yellow flags there I'd be making sure I understood really good. All right, Sean says he just got his warrants on Robinhood. Maybe we were expecting, according to Sparky, expect your warrants expect trading around noontime. I'm going to throw Sparky under the bus there. Let's see if he's right. We got 40 minutes. The synthetic printed warrants are slowly being distributed out from the brokers to your account. Craig says, I'm glad I found your channel, as I've been watching videos that are saying the banks shorting AMC are trapped as they are running out of liquidity. There's a lot of people talking about reverse repo that have no idea what they're talking about, Craig. They're just repeating what someone told them. Remember, the Fed is purposely bringing down the reverse repo. This is like actually a strategy. It's not that I don't get it. Why? I mean, yes, if things happen in the economy that the Fed is not anticipating, it can get a little wonky. But they're following a policy to wind down the reverse repo facility. It's not like this is intentional. I just leave those people alone, you know. They're not hurting anybody, really. They're just, I think, talking about stuff they don't truly understand. Gabel says, what about AMC? Only good news, but shorted at the SMA 200. I'm guessing, Gabel, that you missed our last 45 minutes of discussion. I would rewind this live stream and get caught up, because I don't really like repeating it. I don't want to sound or seem negative. Just trying to be real, and the real is going to be interpreted as being negative. But I would bet you money that what we just discussed in the last hour is exactly what is going to happen. And no one else is talking about it. They're scared to death to talk about it. And we're not making up any theories. We're literally discussing what is in corporate documents, telling you what is about to happen. It is a great question, Gabel, to ask yourself. Turn off social media and ask yourself, if there is nothing but good news, why is AMC's price being pushed down? I said turn off social media because I don't want your answer to be crime, manipulation. Really go read the documents, read the press releases from the company. The breadcrumbs of what is about to happen are all there since July. And even there's a breadcrumb in the October 1st press release about what is going to happen. Yes, I am bullish about the box office. That does not matter if you factor in the corporate actions that are headed our way. Morky, yeah. And if the price drops, if there is a dilution or a conversion of swapping shares for convertible notes, you know, whatever, if the price drops, then that is the point that I want to come in and do my little speculative bet. When the risk has been taken out of the play. Right now, there's a lot of risk. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. But that could be, scares me to death. That could be dilution, scares me to death. I'd much rather come in and say, hey, I picked up AMC at $2 or $1.75, and I think we're good to run back up to $3 or $4. Than to be buying right now at $3 and watch it get wiped out. But people say, Tony, you're talking about AMC because you're pumping it. I don't own stock. It's too risky for me right now. I have not owned it since November of 2024. I exited my swing trade at break even because I was scared about the next 12 months, and that's generally been a good decision. And I've been patiently waiting for what is about to happen here in the next 3 months. Then I will decide if I get back in AMC. Zach, oh man, he's worried about the strike potential in May of 2026. I don't even want to think about that yet, Zach. We haven't even. I don't want to have another risk to think about, Zach. But it's good that you're looking ahead like that. Was it 2 years on the contract that they agreed on? Is it already coming up that we got to have a contract renegotiation again? Mother. 3-year contract, okay. Craig says, what was the date again to take note on the stock split vote? The company announced a shareholder vote. What is it, guys, on December 9th? I think it's December 9th or around there. And so the proxy will be released sometime before that date. Between October 11th and late November, we'll get a proxy, and we'll find out exactly what they're thinking. I'm trying not to be too negative, like I don't know what's on the proxy, but I'm willing to bet money that they're going to ask for considerable amount of new authorized shares. No, you can don't let me forget about let's get past this proxy statement, and then let's make sure we're not forgetting about any contract negotiations. Luckily, Zachary, I think, the 2026 slate should be pretty locked in. Like those movies, if there is contract issues or strikes or whatever in May, most of the 2026 movies should be pretty well locked in, edited, final cut. And then we got to worry about spillover effects in 2027. Don't let me forget. Gabel, yeah, that is a good point. You can't, well, he says you can't short it because of good news. I thought he was going to say AMC can't dilute if it runs up. You can't short it because of good news and then short it again because of asking for new shares. I don't think they're shorting it because of good news, Gabel. They're not shorting it because of good news. Here's how I think about it. Investors are running up the price because of good news while not thinking about what is about to happen that is emboldening the shorts. See how I took the same thing, but I'm giving you a different way to think about it. People are getting excited about Taylor Swift. They're running the price up. They're buying shares, and they're ignoring what is about to happen in a matter of weeks. And the shorts are just taking advantage of it. They're not going to let the price run up. They're like, yeah, thank you very much. And your options premiums, you wanted to buy calls? Yeah, thanks. We'll take that too. We'll sell you some calls. The shorts are very clear about what corporate actions are coming up. I don't think that the retail investor, average investor, is really, I don't think it's really resonated with them what is about to happen. Because no one's talking about it. And if you do, he's being Mr. Negative. He's paid for by the shorts. Like, I'm literally just reading company documents. This is company provided information to you. We should be able to discuss it. Gabel, I mean, that's a fair point. He says, are the new shares already priced in? Possibly. Yeah, maybe so. That's one way you could think. If you wanted to be ultra positive about it, you could say maybe it's already priced in. That's why the price is being held down. I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong on what happens to price. I'm not making any price predictions. You have a valid theory. I don't know if that theory will end up being correct, but I mean, I'm not going to argue against it. It's possible. All I'm saying, Gabel, is I don't want to, when I can't quantify probability, like what is the probability you're right? I don't know. If I can't quantify that probability, I'd rather just sit out until I see what happens, and then I can come in with a higher degree of confidence. It's really that simple for me. I don't care if I buy it $1.50, $2, or $4. If I feel confident about what is going to happen. When I don't know what's going to happen, I got to take a beat, pause. Zachary says, I want them only to ask for shares, not anything else. No more reverse split unless they actually need to stay on the market. Sparky, are you still here? I think how many people do we have in here? Let's do a poll. Let's see what you guys think. I know what my Discord thinks because we talk about this often. I want to see what you guys think. If we go with the assumption that they need more authorized shares, that means they could just say, hey, we need 500 million more shares. We're not going to reverse split. Or do you think will AMC, the poll question is, will AMC ask for a reverse split on the upcoming proxy? That's the question, Sparky. Do you think AMC asks for a reverse split on the proxy or just ask for more shares? David says, any news on Railtown? Not that I was checking. I was F5 all morning this morning. No news on the AI partnerships front that I saw this morning. We do know that in Canada, Railtown trades under the ticker symbol RAIL, R-A-I-L, on the CSE exchange, and they are going to be approved for market on close orders effective tomorrow, 10/8. MOC orders are mostly used by institutions or, let's say, a fund that not so concerned about what penny they're paying for the price. They need to lock in X amount of position at the market close, whatever the price is. So they put in a market order at close, and it just automatically gets executed. You know how you always see that high volume at the last few minutes of the day? That is sometimes, depending on the exchange, it could be end of day auction or it could be market on close orders. Railtown will be approved on the CSE exchange for MOC orders tomorrow. Maybe David, maybe they're waiting to time their news release where it is somehow tied into making the trading on the Canadian exchange more favorable for institutions with MOC. I don't know at this point. I do still expect some news at any time. I'm checking every day, pre-market and after hours. Chuck says, at what point does AMC get back to profit? With the spreadsheet model, Chuck, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of, depending on the market share they get, they could make a profit somewhere around 2.7 billion in domestic box office. So really the question is, how soon can we get to every quarter being on average higher than 2.7 billion? As long as it's not, we got to factor in some risk management in our minds that the company might need to keep on raising cash, or if they're not stacking cash, they're going to have to keep on issuing shares to reduce debt. Because if you can't stack cash, how else are you going to fix the balance sheet? Adam told us on October 1st he's going to relentlessly work to repair the balance sheet. If you're not stacking cash, how do you do that? Sparky says they should ask for a big number just to not have to do this again in the next year. If they don't get a vote, they have to reverse. They have to get a vote either way, Sparky. Whether they ask for shares or they do a reverse, they have to ask for a vote. The difference being, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is easier to get a vote to do a reverse split than increase the authorized shares. If I'm not mistaken on Delaware rules. If I'm not mistaken, a reverse split only requires 50% plus one of the people that showed up to vote. And to increase authorized shares without a reverse split, just say we want 500 million more, that requires 50% plus one of all outstanding shareholders. That's a big difference in a hurdle to cross. So I believe it's actually easier to get a vote approved for a reverse split. And I'm really curious, like, what's going to be on the proxy? Do they ask for both? Do they ask for one? And if we don't get that, we want you to vote on this one? Like, how are they going to structure it? They got to go with something that they think they can get approved, right? So do you go for the shoot the moon, or do you go for the easy layup? Sparky says voters should not get cute and vote no. We'll have those discussions, Sparky, after we see the proxy. But I think you're in tune with the financials, right? AMC's running low on cash. There's going to be cash burn this quarter. They'll stack some cash in Q4, I'm pretty sure. Let's just say we add a little bit in July, we burn a little bit. In Q3, we add a little bit back in Q4. Let's just say we're at 400 or 500 million cash at the end of Q4. And people vote no, then that's your cash to last you till infinity. 400 or 500 million. Better hope that every quarter is stellar. Matt says, when is the AMC shareholder meeting? I think it's December 9th, Matt. Chris says, Sparky, if we could turn back the clock to 2021 when AA asked for shares and got no voted, if he would have gotten a yes vote then, Sparky, what do you think would have happened? Yeah, I haven't checked the bond covenants, the new ones, Sparky, or if I did, I don't remember. But AMC had a minimum before, in the old bonds, they had like a minimum liquidity requirement of 200 million. I need to go back and double check the new notes. People think that these companies can just run their cash down to zero, and as long as they have cash, they'll be fine. That is not the case. There are minimum liquidity requirements, and you start getting too close to that, the bondholders will force you to do a restructuring. I think that is a commonly overlooked fact, overlooked by the Popcorn Project gang. They're up on some documents, but they're not up on the financials very good, or bond covenants. It is unfortunate, Chris, that we all thought in 2021 that the smart play was don't let them dilute more. I thought the same thing. And then he ended up pulling the vote, and there went an opportunity to raise money a la GameStop, raise money at a high price. Live and learn. Well, some people learned, and not everybody learned. There's still going to be people that say vote no. Sparky says getting within 100 to 200 million of the liquidity, minimum liquidity requirement is close. I agree. I agree. And then we're just praying, we're praying that every quarter next year, if it's a no vote and they've got 400 million left in cash, we're just praying. We're left to pray that every quarter is stellar in Q4 and that there's no hiccups and that they don't burn another 100 or 200 million. And that could happen. I mean, 2026 is going to be better. Is it going to be that great every single quarter? I don't know. GameStop now continuing the down trend, 1.6%, 24.65. Still no bonds trading. BBBY, oh my God, down 6% today. What the heck happened? Getting spanked. They got dropped from $12 to $10.95. Currently recovering at $11.35. Well, I mean, they got a little bit of a buy for the last few days from the trouncing that GameStop got. Bed Bath & Beyond has circumvented it, but they're getting a little comeuppance today. That is sad to see. Sparky says to Chris, everybody back in 2021, everybody wanted a MOAS, which didn't happen on the no vote. Instead, the company had to resort to drastic stuff. Yep, like the ape dividend. It has been miraculous, even though it's been unfortunate for shareholders. It has been miraculous, the amount of tricks that AMC's been able to come up with to avoid bankruptcy. I mean, they've been 1 foot in the grave several times in the past couple of years, and they keep on coming up with debt restructurings, the ape dividend. They're literally doing everything they can to avoid bankruptcy. It is just up to us to understand the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, and the company documents to understand what they're going to do next, so that you can, if you want to speculate in it, you can have the most chance of being correct. You know, not to generalize, but if you're holding any company that is planning massive dilution over the next year or two, holding might not be the best option. It might be switch to swing trading. Wait for the dilution, buy when it's cheap, wait for a run up before the next dilution, sell into that, rinse and repeat. Justin says, and yet you invest in AMC. I have not had a position in AMC since November 2024. Justin, I've been swing trading it since late 2023, quite profitably. This is not an AMC buy and hold channel. It's not an AMC pump channel. We do speculate in volatile tickers with high IV when it makes sense. And for me, it has not made sense for a year now to own AMC. Too much risk. I will consider it, as I've said, for the last year, after I see what the proxy and the vote look like. I know some of y'all just drop in, or you get your talking points from other channels who don't listen to actually what I say. I'm happy to correct you. We go over this about every day. It's okay. I mean, I'm not offended if you're not a regular viewer here. Try and keep it as real as we can. But I understand if you guys aren't, if you're not in the Discord or you're not watching the videos or the live streams, it's easy to think, oh, he's covering AMC, he must be invested. I'm covering AMC because literally nobody is giving accurate information. At least one channel can. I'm not a bear. I'm just covering the filings. That's it. The filings in the box office. Make your own choices. I don't have a position. Too much risk. But I'm not opposed to taking a swing trade if the timing is right. If that happens, I will let y'all know. And I will still call it speculative. Not for everybody. Some of us are degenerates, and that is fine, as long as you're managing the size of your risk. Have a properly diversified portfolio of profitable companies, long history of growing revenue and growing profits, and a bonus if they pay a dividend. Once you have that, once you have your bills paid off, once you don't have high interest credit cards, then take a little bit of fun money and go speculate. But you don't want all your investment in one speculative bet. Because if you are wrong, it can be tragic. All right, let's see what y'all voted in the poll here. Will AMC ask for a reverse split? 66% of you, 2/3, believe yes. Justin says about 2/3 of brokerages have not delivered GME warrants yet. Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised. But, you know, I presumed that GameStop would push them to computer share overnight, and that computer share would push them in pre-market to the DTCC, and that, you know, all of that would happen. Computers, trickle down to people's brokerages by market open. That didn't happen. I mean, that's kind of what we're just sitting here documenting this for next time. How many times do we get to watch a warrant rollout? Not that often. And so we'll know better for next time what to expect. My expectation going into today was we would be green light by market open. That did not happen. Not on GameStop and not on BBBY either. Railtown at 58 cents. Come on. We need some Railtown news today, tomorrow, Friday. Today's the 7th. They should have a monthly progress report due on published on October 9th. That is Thursday. Knock on wood. Knock on wood that we get a press release this week. AI partnership. Deal complete. Something. LOI. Ready. Tell us anything. Morky says, have to decide whether I sell my shares now and wait or hold for another 6, 9, 12 months before any reasonable increase in share price. I think, Morky, as long as the company doesn't go bankrupt, if we're talking about AMC, there will be some profitable trading opportunities for people that come in at the right. It's going to require impeccable timing. I was able to do it 2 or 3 times after August of 2023, swing trade it profitably. And then the last time when I was looking at the cash flow and the balance sheet in November, I said, there's another dilution coming. And I was not in a green position. I was pretty much close to break even, and I just exited. I said, I don't know when it's coming, but there's a dilution about to happen. And the price ran up a little bit after I got out, and then the dilution news came. So I was not, if I would have been a little more, less scaredy cat, I could have got out on that final swing with the profit. I'm okay with getting out on break even on that last one. I mostly was more afraid of getting in the red, and I didn't want to be subjected to that. You get your position, you have your theory, and you kind of then keep an eye on the balance sheet, the box office, cash flow, and you want to get out of the trade before the next dilution event. And maybe there is never another one, which would be cool. But if that's why you got to pay attention. If there is, you got to get out, break even, get out even in the red, hopefully get out in the green, and wait for the next cycle. And, there are people in our Discord using that methodology that completely repaired any previous losses they had in their AMC position. I know that sounds crazy, but we had people that were down 6 figures that repaired their position. So it doesn't have to be doom and gloom, but you might have to shift up your style of trading. Yeah, and it is educated guessing. There's no guarantees. GameStop now down 2%, 24.56. We're 5 minutes away from the noon hour. The entire market's been going down all day. And, you know, my general theory, I know a lot of people tell you if the market crashes, GameStop is going to be the flight to safety. I think that's horse hockey. If the market crashes, GameStop's probably going to go down. Yes, they have cash. It doesn't make it a flight to safety. Safety would be anything but equities. The other thing, Morky, when I do take a swing position on AMC, if I go long after a dilution event, I'll try and go long, and then I will sell covered calls on it to juice the return if the IV is high enough where it makes sense. I don't always do that. I don't want to lose my shares on a covered call to make a couple pennies, right? But if you can make a decent return in a high volatility, high IV scenario, we will also do that. And we might even get an entry in the position by selling cash secured puts. Another way to increase your return. Like if you said, I'm willing to buy, not right now because we don't know how low it could go, but let's say they announce dilution and the price drops from 280, let's just make up a number to 250. And you say, based on that filing, I'd be willing to buy it at $2, then sell cash secured put with a $2 strike. You'll make immediate money. If it hits $2, you'll get the shares at $2. If it doesn't hit $2, well, you still got to keep the money. John says we were at 23 before Q3. Now we're at 24.50. Pretty BS if you ask me. I think we're waiting on, the market is waiting on some news, John, for really of what is GameStop going to do with their cash. That's when you'll truly have some potential catalyst in GameStop. Or if Keith Gill comes back, I'd take that too. I don't plan on that. You guys never see me tweet about it, but come on back. David says, have I had a chance to do a demo with Railtown? I've talked to Railtown folks 3 or 4 times now, David, and what we agreed on the last time we talked is that we would not do the demo, the product demo, until after the news was announced. Because management, you know, there's only so many people that do the demo. I don't know if Corey would do it with me or what, but they basically insinuated they need to focus their management time on getting this deal wrapped up rather than doing a product demo for a YouTuber. So after the announcement, that's what we agreed on. Fidget Spinner, hello. Good afternoon. He says, I know you were a fan of Richard Newton. I'm a fan of decent human beings, Fidget Spinner. He was a reasonable GameStop YouTuber who seems like a genuinely kind and reasonable person, unlike a lot of the weird personalities we have covering GameStop. Yes, I'm not a tinfoil guy, and Richard got into the tinfoil, and you guys, you know, I pretty much leave the tinfoil people alone. Richard didn't give crazy price targets or make guarantees. I thought he got into the tinfoil and he speculated a little bit, which is good. It's fun. It's good to have theories. It's good to see if those theories end up being correct, as long as you're not rockets every day. You know, we rip tomorrow, $500, $1,000. Those people I have a bigger problem with. I mean, it's no better than the Bed Bath & Beyond pumpers before it went bankrupt. Just ridiculous promises. I didn't really see that from Richard. He had certain theories, speculative, based on swaps and things. That's all fine. Is that really my thing? Is that what I focus a lot on? No, that is not my thing. But it's entertaining, even educational for me to listen to it. And I certainly always had hopes that some of his theories were correct. Do I think there is anything suspicious at all with perhaps swaps? I think there's definitely swaps going on, fidget spinner. There could be synthetic positions. Also, you could create short exposure with derivatives, be it options or swaps. Absolutely. And you could effectively hide short exposure on any ticker. But I keep on coming back to this same basic question, and my core belief: GameStop is an idiotic short. And I don't think that shorts are irrational. They might have been irrational in 2020, 2021. They got a comeuppance handed to them and a severe spanking. How stupid would you have to be short GameStop when they have $8.7 billion? You've got to be pretty dumb. Do you think they're that dumb? I don't. So that's kind of where I come back to, could there be swaps? I don't know. You don't hear me out there arguing swaps don't exist. How the F do I know? They probably do exist. But why would you be short GameStop? Seems pretty risky to me. At this point, I might have had a different opinion a year ago when the company didn't have this much cash and they were still losing revenue and money every quarter. It's not the same company it was a year ago. The only thing to debate now is what is the proper valuation and when is GameStop going to announce some use of the cash? If you're on the wrong side of that trade, I'd say there's a high risk you get raked over the coals if you're short. So that, I mean, this is if I ever pipe up on X, people get really mad that why aren't you talking about the swaps? Why won't you acknowledge that the float's been sold 5 times over? Because I don't have the evidence. You want to come talk about it and bring your evidence, you know, if that is your thing. Any of you who don't like me on X, I'm happy to have you come lay it all out. I see the DD out there. You know, these people say they're scraping data and looking at short reports, total return swaps. I don't know. Is that legit data? I'm just going to say, like, in my trading of GameStop, I can use the chart, the company financials, understanding social sentiment, and the reported short interest to make good enough trading decisions. I don't need to worry about swaps. If swaps exist and Richard's theories were correct, or whoever thinks the float's been sold 5 times over, well, hopefully I'll be long anyways on a swing trade, and that's just a bonus to me. I don't need to sit here every day and talk about that stuff. There's plenty of other reasonable evidentiary-based stuff we can talk about. And if you want to hear about the other things, there's other channels, and I'd say tune in to, a variety of views. You're not ever going to hear me denigrating those people that think swaps might exist. Of course they exist. They're a real thing. To what extent do they exist in GameStop? I have no idea. And it doesn't matter to me. Even more importantly. Rube says, never thought Ryan Cohen would give Catalyst news before the dividend. Yeah, it would make more sense to drop it anytime after today, Rubes. Anytime in the next 13 months. Fidget Spinner says, I hope and believe Ryan Cohen knows there's another 2008 style crisis on its way and is waiting with that money to pounce at the bottom of it. That would be a very good theory, I think, Fidget Spinner. And I think it's reasonable to hope that. I see the bears out there saying Ryan Cohen's never going to do anything with the money. I don't believe that. I'm not bearish on Ryan Cohen. Can I guarantee you that he's going to do something smart with the money? I can't guarantee anything. I can hope right along with you, and I do believe he intends to do something intelligent with the money. Evidentiary. Yes, that is your word of the day, Pond Prowler. I feel like Yukon Cornelius today looking at these warrant prices. Nothing. Nothing. Come on. Stock market, NYSE. You damn brokers. Get these warrants in everybody's hands. They had to go change the fluid on the mimeograph machine, the synthetic printer. Coming right up. Anton says, I always thought he wanted to get into the S&P 500 using the ATM and bond offerings. The warrants threw me off with my theory. I know there's a cottage industry of people that believe just if the market cap hurdle is met, GameStop is guaranteed to get in the S&P 500. And they've built a 4-year career in promising you guys that S&P 500 is just mere months away. And they've been wrong for 4 years. The S&P keeps on raising the market cap minimum to get in. And even if you did meet the market cap minimum, there are other criteria, and there's a board that you have to be approved by, and there are plenty of companies that meet the market cap criteria that aren't in the S&P 500, and there are companies that don't meet the market cap criteria that are still in the S&P 500. So it's not as simple as just crossing a market cap threshold like some of these people on YouTube will tell you. And would it be great for GameStop to get in the S&P 500? Absolutely. But I think, probably they got to turn around the revenue. There's rules about, you got to have X number of quarters profitability. But if you're the S&P 500, do you want a company that is just barely making money from operations while their revenue is falling? Or do you want the best of the best? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee you, like some of these guys will, that if they just hit the market cap threshold, that is good enough. There could be other things that the board considers that still might exclude GameStop. So I want Ryan Cohen to focus on fixing the business, or invest the money in something that force multiplies earnings. Then I think all of those other little problems take care of themselves. Could GameStop be a future S&P member? Absolutely. Is it going to be just because they raised enough cash to increase the market cap? I don't know. I don't know that that's good enough. Yeah, they have definitely, they seem to have turned the corner, and the more good quarterly reports they can notch to convince the market what we now believe after the last quarter or two, then maybe the story changes. But really, for me, the story really changes when that money's put to use, however long that takes for them to find the right thing. And like Fidget Spinner was saying, if GameStop is waiting for a market crash to go in and pounce on somebody, that's fine with me. GameStop share price might get smashed down in a general market crash, but they still got cash. Doesn't really matter what the share price does. They could leverage that cash. I've seen that just kind of made me think of, I've seen some of these people on mostly the Bed Bath & Beyond people saying that, oh, we saw in the documents that GameStop is going to become an investment company. And I keep on deciding, do these people have a big enough following that this is even worth making a video about? Like, what I'm seeing in the documents is the exact opposite of what they're saying. I'm seeing GameStop saying, hey, heads up, guys, we're going to do everything we can not to be subject to the Investment Company Act. We're going to do everything we can to avoid that because it has a lot of additional restrictions and reporting, and we don't want to cross that bridge. I don't know why these guys are so focused on misreading documents. And yeah, generally a company like GameStop probably does not want to be categorized as an investment company, which is why they put it as a risk. They're like, oh shit, if we get categorized as an investment company, that is going to potentially negatively impact us. They're not listing it as a benefit. They're listing it as a risk. They don't want that to happen. And they will manage their investments to avoid that happening. It's not like something to aspire to. I mean, if they decide to not be an operating company, just completely shift their direction, and then they put the infrastructure and the right accounting people in place to become an investment company, that could be a strategy they switch to. But then now, instead of evaluating the company by earnings, you're evaluating the company by net asset value. And what's the NAV of GameStop right now? 1150. Like, what? I mean, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of being lumped in with investment companies? None. Literally none. Rubes, yes, I did look up the what would it take to be classified as a investment company. I did look that up. Something about the percentage of your assets that you have invested, 40% or something, in securities, which is why a company like GameStop keeps most of their money in treasuries, because then they don't got to worry about it. Or even in crypto, as long as the crypto is considered a treasury and not an investment. These companies like MSTR and GameStop, they're very careful about how they categorize their crypto holdings so that they don't become subject to the Investment Company Act. This is not something these companies want to be classified as. And the why don't they? Because of regulatory oversight, the change in reporting, whole new extra people you need to hire to handle a whole bunch of new filings, and the fact that your valuation shifts from earnings based to net asset value. Which is not $24.55 for GameStop. It's half of the current price. So not really advantageous for GameStop, which is why they listed it as a risk. And they will attempt to avoid it, would be my guess. And it's easy enough to avoid. Just plan out your investment strategy. 24.49, down 2.25%. Markets continuing their downward trend on the day. What are we at on the government shutdown now? Like day 6? I was reading some headlines this morning. We got a military payday on October 15th. Could act as a date where Congress, makes a deal before then, or maybe they do a continuation vote where they just allocate some money and then keep arguing for a few weeks. I don't know. Market not really liking today. What other headlines do we got? Shutdown angst. First decline in 8 days. Ray Dalio says, you should hold more gold than usual. Gold prices reach 4,000. I think that is some indication that people are a little bit worried about what the stock market might do. Silver just under 48, gold just under 4,000. Bitcoin today coming down off of yesterday's highs, 121.7. Trip Hazard says 24 even is what he's calling. Could be. We unfortunately broke through that supply zone that I was hoping we did not break through. I really did not want to see this happen today. Because then we got a lot of downward. Let's try and fix this. Got a lot of downward gap here. Come on. Go to there. Did I make this too high? Womp, womp, womp. Trip says he's calling for $22.50 tomorrow for GameStop. I hope not, but you could be right. I really want to see these damn warrants trading, Trip. And for all of the people that wagered with me that there was going to be a warrant squeeze, as I was saying, no, there would not be a warrant squeeze. I'm going to give you until, as my original offer, I'll give you till the middle of October to be correct. We were not calling for a warrant squeeze here. A couple people got really angry with me, upset their little narrative. I just have an opinion based on my DD, and I'm not scared to voice that opinion based on a reasonable reading of the facts and understanding of market dynamics and the market participants. I'm sorry if it doesn't confirm what you wanted to hear, and I would love to be wrong. I would love for the warrants to hit and then all of a sudden the shorts start buying them and it drives the price up. We're here all day if that happens. I would love to see that happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And all the people that have been making, you know, GameStop's about to rip videos, well, they'll just act like those videos never happened. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a Diet Coke. I hope so, Trip. $17 is too low. There's no reason for GameStop to go below 21. Yeehaw. Where is that? Yeehaw.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Not exactly a yeehaw day, folks. Let me get Clint off the screen here. There we go. Why do we have this? We have this one comment. How long has that been on the screen? I haven't even looked over at my YouTube. Type 8 ball and a question to ask the Magic 8 Ball. Thank you, Streamlabs. But trying to get that chat highlight thing to work. I did not do that. Log in. Chat highlight. Dashboard, where is it? I don't even know how to turn that off anymore. Oh well, we'll figure that out another day. John says there's another GME ETF coming out. I saw that one of them was shutting down, new money coming into it. Was it GMEU, John? Trip says GME being taken out to the woodshed. Kyle still waiting on his warrants. Let's see. Can I? Nope, I can't tag these. Chris says, if I would have bought GME strictly for the warrants. Wasn't it amazing, Chris, how many people were saying load up as many? There were people wanting to load up at 28 bucks. Get a second loan, sell the 401k, put it all in GameStop at 28 because I want those warrants. Can you imagine how, I mean, I admire the conviction, but a little bit misguided. You'd be feeling it. You'd be feeling it for sure today. Chris says, are warrants out? They're coming out. They are being distributed as we speak. Trip. Chris says, any thoughts on XRX? How is that company still even trading? Yo, what do they even do anymore? Xerox. $114 back in my day, 1996, down to $3. Wow, they still bring in 1.5 billion in total revenue. On 1.5 billion, they're bringing in 12 million of operating income. I don't know. Revenue trend is falling. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's the best pick. We got bigger fish to fry, my friend. You'd have to really sell me a turnaround story on Xerox. Railtown back up to 60 cents. Let's extend these zones out a little bit before we go back to GameStop. Normally I would be thinking about selling here, but I only bought Railtown for a news speculative bet. It's going to be a hero or zero type play. Well, not zero, but I'm hopeful it will work out. We'll see. Normally here we'd be thinking time to exit, but there's a big catalyst that we're waiting on to see how the market evaluates that news announcement. That is why the stock keeps on getting run up, and then it gets run down because they're taking so damn long. This latest run up out of nowhere makes me think that we're very, very close. We'll see. Sparky says he's waiting for the string of manipulation and crime, don't forget crime, videos today from all the MOAS promisers. It won't be any self-reflection, Sparky, about did they misunderstand the market mechanics. It won't be any self-reflection about did they maybe just misunderstand warrants in general. It won't be any self-reflection about maybe there's not 5 times the float sold in shorts. There will be zero self-reflection. It will only be blame, manipulation, and crime. Or I would just submit to you humbly, perhaps you didn't understand what was going on. It's possible. I mean, if crime and manipulation are possible, it's also possible that maybe you just didn't understand what was going on. Not you, Sparky. I'm talking about the people who are going to have a alternate story tomorrow. I'm pretty zen today, Sparky, because this is kind of exactly what we expected. I wish I would have been sharp enough to sell at 28, but it's really not high enough for me to exit a swing trade. I still think we see higher prices in 28 in GameStop with very little risk of going below 21 bucks. So it's a okay hold with my low entry. I think it's a low risk hold unless the entire market collapses, which I don't know. There's some GameStop traders that think the entire market's going to collapse. I'd say that's a pretty risky GameStop hold if that is your belief. I do think there is some risk in the market, but we can't avoid. If you're in equities, unless you're hedged, you can't avoid your positions getting run down. So I'm not going to blame GameStop. If it craters in a market crash, I'm not going to blame GameStop. Nobody's going to be spared. There's no hiding. It's just wait it out. Hopefully you got some cash on the side, and then you go in and buy. Right, Chris? Sounds like the out of many playbooks, not just feminists. I don't want to get into the feminist debate. This is not a political or sexist channel, but there are plenty of people that have inability to take any personal self-accountability. It's always blame shifting. I think one of the most humbling things we can do when we are wrong is have the ability to step back, self-assess. Did I just misread it? What could I learn from this? You know, if there's nothing else that I have received out of the last 3 years of watching retail trade meme stocks, it is the ability to recognize that I don't always get stuff correct and to shift my analysis and my thinking. I think there is nothing wrong with that. It is an admirable quality. It's the people who just continue to double down on the same narrative that I really question. I commend any of you who've taken any opportunity to learn in any ticker. Oh, I fucked up. What could I learn from this? How do I improve my analysis? How do I improve my understanding of what the market is willing and able to do despite what I believe? Why are my beliefs not being met with the price action that I want in the market? All of those are learning opportunities. And being able to self-reflect on them and maybe change your analysis or your strategy will improve your profitability. Have fun out there, Pond Prowler. We'll be watching for your video update. Get some video of the dolphins for us. Man. I think at 12 o'clock, maybe we'll take a little break. That'd be 1 Eastern. Maybe we'll take a little lunch break here and then come back live as soon as the warrants start trading. I'm going to give them 23 more minutes. My breakfast consisted of 2 slices of bacon, so we're going to need some lunch here soon. Oh man, Chris lost money on Mullen. Yeah, that's a rough one, Chris. Sorry to hear about that. And yeah, I mean, if you can take that as what we call tuition and learn something from it, then even though it is unfortunate, hopefully you can recover from that loss. I did a lot of coverage on Mullen. I don't think 99% of it was not favorable. Initially, you know, I try and give everybody a fair shake, every company, but once we look at those financials and the lack of revenue, we got to call it for what it is. And the unfortunate thing about Mullen is they have no qualms about putting out fake press release. That can really throw investors for a loop when you put out these fake press release. Oh, we had this sale, we got these vehicles invoiced, we have this partnership with Saudi Arabia, we have this, we have that. And then it all just is lies. That's tough. It's okay to be skeptical. Show me the money, David. Show us the money. Don't show us a press release. Yeah, it was a smokescreen. And it is tough. I mean, I feel for you when the company is willing to lie like that. You're in a tough spot. Like, what do you believe? Do you believe the people that are reporting on the financials, or do you believe the company with their promises of massive revenue and cost cutting, blah, blah, blah? At a certain point, I give a company like maybe one chance to be completely wrong on a press release. When I see 2 or 3 times, I'm gonna say no. They're liars and they don't have a problem lying, apparently. It's one thing to be optimistic, but to blatantly say you have sales and then later those sales don't materialize at all, I mean, I think you crossed a line there. Bed Bath also getting spanked today, along with GameStop and the market in general. Everything, well, not everything. SoFi's up 5%. What else do we have here? What else do we have here that's looking good on our old retail list? See a lot of red here. What was that? Oh, that's... May as well delete this one. You're a has-been, buddy. Volume on this ticker, 300 shares. It's up 66%. 300 shares trading for the day. The heck. Remember GMBL when that one was retail darling? Oh my gosh. That's as bad as Mullen. No, not quite as bad. The 979,000 was the price back in 2020, if we take out all the reverse splits. If you invested $979,000 back in 2021, you have 50 cents right now. That's almost as bad as Mullen. Not a lot good there. Let's look at the blue chip list. AMD still doing good. Rough day. It's a rough day, kids. In light of that, I'll be happy that I'm going to remain happy that Railtown's over 60 cents. Marilyn Mom says, I knew David Mishery did not care about shareholders when he spent a lot of money on a fancy jet. Marilyn, also Netflix is the highest earner of the day. Congratulations. How do you feel, Marilyn Mom, about all the people saying boycott Netflix right now? I'm just curious. I guess you must feel still pretty confident in it. I don't know how the boycott movement is going to end up affecting them, but it is getting a little bit of publicity from some people right now. Richie asking, as the price of GameStop goes down, does the price of the warrant decrease? Yes. Around this level, Richie, I think we should see the warrant trading between $3 and $4, closer to $3, the lower we go below 25. Keith, thank you for the sub. Marilyn Mom says, I don't listen to Elon. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's take a look at Chris's Buru. We need something positive to look at today, Chris. 32% gainer on the day. Love it. Volume 441 million. Free float is 125 million. there are going to be people that say, Chris, you ever see these people? How does a stock with a free float of 125 million trade 441 million? SEC, where are you? They never say that when it's going up, do they, Chris? Only when it goes down, all of a sudden they're questioning share turnover. But you know how many day traders I've seen question share turnover? None. Only the naked short people love to complain about it when a stock goes down. They won't say jack squat when the price is running up and you got a 334% share turnover. No problem. When it turns the other way, all of a sudden they got a problem. Hey, when a ticker's hot, you're going to have high share turnover. That's just the way it is. Doesn't mean that, it doesn't necessarily mean that a bunch of synthetics got printed. It just means a lot of shares are trading hands. You want to know how that game works? Go talk to a real day trader. Keith says, do you think GameStop is at the low of the day? I don't know. Trip thinks it's going to $24. I'm not surprised where it's at right now. I kind of would like to see what happens once the warrants are released. We had a little fun theorizing yesterday. What if the shorts are pushing the price down so they can get these warrants as cheap as possible once they start trading? What if? I mean, yeah, could be. Yeah, see that, Keith. 24.38 on my screen. Low of the day. The last 3 or 4 days, we've seen at the end of the day, they really run the price down. I don't know if that'll happen again today, around 3 p.m. Eastern. We're 2 hours away from that. The warrants coming out today, is that going to shift the dynamic? Maybe. I don't want to see a close below this red support zone today. So hopefully we pull up and pull out. Let's go up and to the right. 1, 2, 3, and we're on our 4th day of red. For all of y'all that bought in at 25, 26, 27, I would like to see some hold here. My buy-in is down here, so I'm okay with it. But obviously, I'd like to see the price hold and bounce off of this supply zone, not crush down through it. Not looking great, though. Sparky says not to be a cynic, but what if everybody was expecting a big bounce today and it doesn't happen? Then that's what I'm worried about, Sparky. If we end up in the red today and below this support area that we had here, then I mean we got a couple of little opportunities, pretty high volume of support here at $24. If we break below 24, yeah, we're likely headed back to 22 at least. I would prefer that we don't have to figure that out or observe that happen, but it's possible. Mark says E-Trade is not properly accounted for GME1 yet. Yeah, the market can't properly account for these GME1 options until the warrant is priced and trading. even if you can trade them, right? GME1, if you call in. There is a very slight volume on them, not a lot. I'm looking at the ones for this week. Tiny volume. Let's look at the regular GME option and see. Let's compare the 17th. 17th, we got GME1 with volume 153, 107, and 117. Let's look at calls above the current price. We got 1789 and 131. All right. And then on the regular, see, this is where all the volume's at. It's on the non-warrant options. As we have talked about and anticipated, the volume is going to shift to the standard options, not GME1. Here on the 25 strike, we've got 59 on the bid, 65 on the ask. And on this one, we got 70 on the bid and 66. Look at that, almost 10-cent swing on the spread here. 66 and 75. And here we've only got 6 cents on the spread. So my general belief was that you'd see less liquidity and wider spreads on the GME1. And it looks like that's what we're seeing. So I would call them suboptimal compared to the regular, now standard options. Doesn't mean they're horrible, just means they are suboptimal. Maybe that'll change when the warrants start trading. All right, Mark's saying that they're still showing listed as GME, but unsellable. Yeah, that sucks. It'll get fixed, Mark. It might take till tomorrow. I'm surprised that they haven't coded it as GME1. That is unfortunate to hear. I get the not sellable part. And have you called them to see if you could? We had people saying that if they called their broker, they were able to sell, but that they couldn't do it on the platform. John says, "Where is the market for GME warrant?" It'll be a NYSE listed ticker, John. Just not trading yet. Still waiting. Sparky says the convert holder should be lowering the shorts, not driving it down and getting more short at a lower price. Yeah, that's our general understanding, right? As the price is falling, the bondholders, if they were short, would be decreasing their short hedge. So that would tell us what? That people are just selling. But what if, Sparky? What if there's some other unknown evil short coming in and pushing the price down? I'm just playing devil's advocate, but I agree with you on what the convert holders are doing. What are you seeing on the bonds? Is there any bond trading going on this week? Or is it low volume bond trading? Not a single trade, Sparky's saying, posting on the bonds. Good to know. All right, we are going to take a small break here at the top of the hour, get some lunch, and probably come back for market close, assuming that the warrants are trading. If they're not, maybe we do an evening live stream and kind of figure out what the heck is going on. I'm going to be here for 4 more minutes, but I'm going to turn the camera and the mic off and just chat with you guys on the keyboard.
Spike VT donated $2 through Super Chat. Keeping it real.
Down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, and this rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip,